Hey there, and welcome to Strategy Candy, a brand new podcast that is all about strategy, building high performing teams, and setting and achieving audacious goals using the objectives and key results framework. Now, that might be a new framework for you. I'm going to run you through what all this stuff is in just a moment, but I want to tell you a little bit about me. I'm your host, Tim Newbold. I've been doing YouTube videos for quite a few years now and really have been hanging out to bust out into the podcast space. So this is going to be a whole bunch of fun. It's going to be a little bit more informal than my usual YouTube stories and the sort of structure we take on that. For me, this is a bit of a hobby and a bit of an area of interest that I want to give a go. So my background is actually leading a business called OKR Quick Start. And what we do is we help organizations basically do what I told you here, get crystal clear on their strategy, set and achieve audacious goals using the OKR framework. And of course, building high performing teams. You kind of need all these components for it to work well. You can't have a high performing team if they're not clear on where they're headed and they're not setting goals where they actually know whether they're being successful. You can't really progress your strategy if you don't have a team that's working well. So all these sort of components come together. And this is what we do. We help businesses really unlock growth by introducing the OKR framework. And we do that with a really clean approach that is simple and easy for people to follow and is really focused on change management. If I actually thought about what this business mainly does, it is about leading that change journey. So you're going to hear a lot of change management themes as a part of this. Over this journey, we're going to interview some amazing people. Some of these podcast episodes will be me sharing some ideas and practices with you. Others will actually be introducing and exploring really great stories with people that are either senior executives that have gone through a serious amount of change around strategy, product, technology, using the OKR framework, but not only. We're going to hear about how did they lead through this journey? How did they make a product that wowed the market? We're also going to hear from some people that might be specialists in their area. So people who are really incredibly deep on product discovery and those sort of things. We're going to talk to those sort of people. Also people that are really wizards at ops, right? They really run efficient, large operation functions at scale, but in a simple way. So these are the sort of people that we're going to be talking to. And this podcast series is going to touch a whole bunch of different bases for you. So this is going to be a little bit about me telling you about some of the things that we've used. And I really want to change it from telling you to really it being some ideas that we're sharing and getting some suggestions and having this as a bit of an open dialogue. Anywhere you can leave reviews and feedback, I'm going to be looking at those and bringing that into the content that we're creating here. Over the years, I've worked with a lot of people in product and tech. And so if you work as an executive or you're working in a tech business, and particularly if you're working on technology products, be it software, hardware, or anything else, I'm going to be speaking with a whole bunch of really interesting leaders that I think we can draw some incredible lessons from together. I'm talking about founders, people who've had really successful exits, as well as some people who are just industry leaders. These might be senior executives. These might be people that are really specific and strong in a particular domain. We've been going through a whole bunch of people that we know will bring incredible value to you. So what does a journey look like while you're listening to this podcast? We are going to be starting down in some of the foundations. I'm presuming that you've got a team, and doesn't matter how senior you are, whether you're an executive or you're just running a delivery team, or maybe you've got an operational team, whatever the case might be. I want to be talking to you about how you can get the most out of your team and sharing some of these killer practices with you. So this is going to be a really, really fun series. It's number one, getting clear on strategy, because we know that there is so much noise out there in the industry. Getting really clear and focused on what matters most right now is going to be really empowering to your team and to help you be successful. We're going to talk about strategy and how strategy is something really more about a means to decide on what you are focusing on and what you're not focusing on. We're going to explore how it's really just a set of coherent actions based on a simple idea or a simple insight that you've got about the competitive landscape that's going to help you take actionable steps to make things better. If you've ever heard a strategy that's just fluff and maybe a bit of a high level motherhood sort of statement, something that says we're going to be the number one banking company or something like that, you probably know my frustration. Those sort of things are not strategies. They actually don't help the team focus their efforts. It doesn't help you choose what you should and should not be doing. It doesn't reflect what's unique to you. Most strategies I see could be applied to absolutely every business. little alone within just that industry. It's literally, these are high level statements that don't mean anything to anyone. So we're going to unpack this in this series by talking to some industry leaders in strategy. We're going to be talking about how to get the most out of your teams. We will be talking about how you get the most out of them by empowering them and really setting them up so that's a people first environment where we're getting the most out of people. They come to work every day wanting to make the biggest impact they possibly can. It's going to be super exciting and I can't wait to share some of those stories with you. We're going to talk about different practices, how to drive continuous improvement, having your teams always working more effectively, working smarter, not harder. We're also going to be talking about different delivery practices and product practices. How do you work out when a product is going to land? How well do you think that product will land? How do you do discovery? How do you make sure it connects with customers and really gets them excited? All those sort of things we're going to cover in this series. One of the big ones you're going to hear us talk about, and I think this is something that is really underappreciated in the industry, is the objectives and key results framework. And this is the big one here. It is something that has driven so much success for a lot of the big tech companies in and starting in Silicon Valley. So thinking about Google, Facebook, LinkedIn, all these sort of organizations really harness the power of the OKR framework to be very clear on what they're focusing on, help them take those valuable slices out of their strategy, not get distracted along the way to make massive impact. And so we're going to be talking a lot about that in this series. It's going to be a little bit about me sharing my insights with you, having helped thousands of teams introduce OKRs. But it's also going to be a little bit about stories with people who have led the implementation from the inside. It might have been people that we've worked with, or also people that just worked it out themselves and embedded OKRs through trial and error. The biggest thing that comes with this is the outcome thinking. So if we have those high performing teams that are clear on their strategy and where they're focusing, the OKRs think about what are we doing right now to make the biggest impact possible. The biggest thing that we'll find that comes from the teams working with objectives and key results is it gets them clear on the outcome, which means it gets them ultra focused on only doing the things that drive a result. And if they're not seeing progress on that result, then they will happily change plans. Too often we get committed and we fall in love with our ideas and our to-do list. But by doing that, we're focused on only what matters. And generally that's either going to be helping the customer or working more effectively as a team. One of those two things is going to be how you drive your business and business growth. And again, if you're an executive, that's great for you. But if it's for a team, then you're able to help and empower that team that you're working with to get the absolute most out of them and be a standout within the business you're working in. What comes after that? Well, people start to copy the practices you've got and they get even stronger. So what's my hope for you during these series? Well, we're going to do a limited run in the beginning, and this is going to be some of the conversations and stories I've had along the way that I want to share with you. And there's going to be an episode dropping every week for the next little while until we call a series end. If it's successful, we might continue. If it doesn't get a lot of traction, but gets a bit of traction, we might call it there and move to a bit of an ad hoc pattern. Let's see how we go. But my hope for you is that these series will give you a whole bunch of new tools, practices, frameworks, ideas, and even philosophies. They're going to help you be more effective in your work and make a bigger impact. If we can use this podcast to really get everyone excited about strategy and creating more fulfilling and inspiring work, we've absolutely crushed it. Let's map out what we're covering over the next few weeks. It's going to be really exciting. First, we're going to talk about what the OKR framework is and how that fits into strategy. So we're going to get some foundations there because a lot of the guests that I'm talking to are going to be referring to OKRs a lot. And I want you to know what they are and not be confused in the noise. So we're going to get some of the foundations down in the next one. Then I'm really excited about this one. We've got an interview with Mike Ilczynski. He's the ex-CEO at Seek. It's an Australian jobs website or classified, you might call it. Really massive here, massive business across Asia Pacific and also getting into the US. Since then he's been CEO at Redbubble, really cool, I guess you'd say marketplace for artistic products. So basically people can get t-shirts printed there and all sorts of other cool things based on the designs they do, and people can buy them on there. They also consider themselves a bit of an artist community. He's now taking a bit of time out of that. And I think some of the stories and lessons that he can share are going to be really relevant to all of you, whether you're an executive going through the same kind of journey or whether you're just a team member wanting to learn from these senior leadership challenges and these senior leadership journeys. It's going to be awesome. From there, we're going to be flipping between sessions I'm sharing with you, some key insights and lessons learned and different sort of things that you can start to apply right now, and interviews with customers. What's going to be critical through all of this is just hearing your feedback. So again, dropping those reviews in iTunes or Spotify or whatever you use and letting me know your thoughts is going to be really, really cool. Gang, that is where I'm going to leave it. Thank you so much for joining me on this first introductory podcast. We've got a whole bunch more coming up for you. So I do hope you subscribe and tune in for next time. And we're going to have a whole bunch of fun along the way. Have an amazing rest of your day and we'll talk soon. Peace.